Welcome to Peaceful Oasis Live, the Loving Meditations concert series, where we feature masters of meditation, musicians, artists, poets, and storytellers. In each episode, we take you deep into a state of relaxation with our guests as they share inspiring activations or meditations performed with expansive music. Sign up for our newsletter to get upcoming events and inspirations delivered to your inbox. Go to peacefuloasislive.com to receive event news and to view past episodes. We appreciate you, our viewers, and your wonderful comments and suggestions supporting our mission for peace and calm. Hello, everybody. I'm Tamara Green.
And I'm David Dachinger.
Yeah, we're from Loving Meditations, and we just get so excited about this because we get to communicate with you, and you get to communicate to us, and we deeply appreciate all your wonderful comments. So keep them coming. This is really all for you. And today we're so excited because we're going to have a dear friend on with us. In fact, let's just bring her on. Terrlyn. I'm going to read her bio as she comes on. Hello, Terrlyn.
Hello.
Yes, so I'm going to read your bio. It's so cool. Reverend Dr. Terrlyn L. Curry Avery is the creator of Pastology, which focuses on the synergy between pastoring and psychology. I love that. That is so cool. She holds a PhD from Hofstra University and a Master's of Divinity from Yale University. She is a transformational leader, ordained minister, licensed psychologist, speaker, author, and retreat leader. Also, one of the books she authored is called Sacred Intelligence. And the reason why I bring that up, Terrlyn, is because I just want to ask right away, what is sacred intelligence?
So I'm so glad that you're asking, because really sacred intelligence is our ability to tap into our internal divine source so that we can make choices that are intelligent and choices that will help us to manifest our greatness while manifesting the greatness of others as well. And I think it's so relevant for a discussion on faith. How do we learn to tap in to that sacred divine part of us and move forward with sometimes with difficult things that we have to face in life?
And my mind is just really grabbing onto divine, that internal divine intelligence. And how many times have I been asked this question? So I'm actually going to ask you this question. How do you know the difference between that kind of internal divine intelligence and your mind? How do you answer that question?
It's an excellent question. And for me, it's the practice of being in tune with that divine source, because that divine source is never going to tell you anything that would be hurtful or harmful to you. Yeah. The divine source is not about confusion. There's a peace and there's a calmness that comes with that divine voice. And sometimes that divine voice can even just tell you, don't go right. And you need to listen to that versus, no, I'm going to go right anyway. And then it was something trying to beckon you to say, that's not the direction for you to go in. So it's really about the practice of listening to that voice so that you can distinguish between what is your stuff that's going on and getting in the way versus that divine, sacred voice that only wants the best for you.
Exactly. Wow. And when we have not listened to that voice, it just comes back. It doesn't really go away until you finally heed what keeps coming so ever so gently over and over, right? I mean, that's how it's been for me.
Well, sometimes it's gently. And then when you don't listen, then it's like, wow. But you know what I really want to just really say too about that? The practice of that, it's also getting rid of all the other gook that gets in the way of you practicing listening. It's getting rid of all the other outside voices that interfere with your thinking. And really and truly, you get a sense of clarity that
Yeah.
comes. I mean, it's amazing. I'm just really quickly, I want to share with you a story of just hearing that voice so clearly. I went to Peru, to Catalina, and I know that you had Daniel on your
Yeah.
program not so long ago. And when I went there, we had all these cleansings that were done. It was amazing, amazing. When I came back, I was able to hear with such clarity about little things. I was in a situation where I was in my church one Sunday and I started smelling something burning. And I asked the other people if they smelled it. They said no, they didn't. So I went on with what I was doing. And then later I said, I smell something burning and it smells like burnt toast. So long story short, we had to leave the church. The fire department came because up above the light was burning.
Oh.
And do you want to know what was inside of the light? A burnt bagel. Because somehow the
Oh.
squirrel had gotten in and there was burnt bread. So actually, I think I said a burnt bagel. That's what I said. Not even burnt toast. I said a burnt bagel. That was spirit speaking
Yeah.
directly to me, saying, don't ignore, first of all, the smell of the burn. But then when I kept looking around to see where it was coming from, we saw where it was coming from, and it was the burnt bagel. And so that's how clearly the spirit can speak to you if you will allow it. And that's our divine wisdom inside
Yes.
of us.
Absolutely. And would you say that divine intelligence was involved in tell us about the cancer in your family, and is it tied in with divine intelligence at
It
all?
is tied in with the divine intelligence and faith in general, because that's what we're
Yeah.
talking about mostly here tonight. And
Right.
for my family, so I had a sister who had cancer, and you know, cancers can be very ugly and nasty, and all the horrors that go with it, particularly when you watch a healthy person really eventually succumb to death, succumb to cancer. But here's what's amazing: our faith journey through that process and her faith journey through that process. So my sister would say to us when we would call and we would say, hi, how you doing? And she says, I'm blessed and highly favored. Right? Sounds like Mary, doesn't it? Like Mary, when she says, I'm blessed and highly favored. And she always kept this very upbeat tone about her. And this is the one thing that she would say, which was very similar to what my mother would often say. She would say, I am prayed up. So in the African American community, we often use that phrase, I'm prayed up. And what that really means is that we've already developed this significant faith with our sacred source, who I call God, that whatever happens, I ultimately have to just put my trust in that divine source, so that there may be some things I don't want to go through in life, because we all have some hard knocks in life. But if I rely on that sacred relationship, that's the most critical piece for me. That helps me through my journey, whether the answer to my prayers are what I want them to be or not. My connection with that sacred source is what's important. And so
Exactly.
when I talk about sacred intelligence, I talk about three important relationships, and that's with our sacred source, our selfish choice source, which is us, our selfish intimacies, as I call them, or relationships, and our shared relationships, those with other people. And so my family, we've always had a very strong sense of who we are in God. So that when my sister was going through cancer, we would call one another and we would have these deeply moving theological discussions around our faith and how do we handle this? How do we handle God not answering our prayers in the way that we want? How do we handle what's the next step that we should take, or that she should take? So my sister, though, like most of the people in our family, we are, I don't know if headstrong is the right word to use it, but we definitely have our ways set. about us, but we're also very thoughtful about what one another thinks as well. And so the part about faith, um, the definition I use for faith is that faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things unseen. And so that's a biblical description of it. But even if you just think about it from a secular place, it's really hoping and believing in that which you do not see, because otherwise it's not faith. It's really about us saying, I believe that all will be well. And so ultimately, with my sister, we knew that no matter what happened, all would be well. And so in this faith journey, I like to look at, you know, our sacred relationship and our sacred motive, even in terms of thinking about why do we even believe in God in the first place, or our sacred source? Is it just to get what we want? Or is it about our growth in that relationship and our trust and our understanding? And then we know more about ourselves based on how we handle those situations that arise in our lives.
I love that. I love that, Terrlyn. And it's reminding me of something that, I don't know for how many years now, but a realization that, nothing's really in terms of relationships with others. It's really not personal. It's this relationship between you and I'll say God, but to source, and them and source, and not what's really going on between the both of you. We're both on this kind of journey, right, to faith with source. And
I think that's beautiful. I don't mean to cut you off. I just got excited about, because it's so much in line with the way that I think about this, because for me, the greatest connection is with source. I can't be completely in alignment even with who I am if I don't understand what my relationship is with source. And that often I have to say, whatever's going on with that other person, it's not about me. And they have to make that right, with their source.
Exactly.
And so that's really what I see this faith journey as, is an opportunity for us to connect with that source, to be able to trust that source, to be able to be real with that source. Because, mind you, just because you're faithful and you have a relationship with source doesn't mean that you can't be angry with source. Doesn't mean you can't lament with source. In fact, you ought to lament when you're going through something that's difficult. There's nothing worse than trying to pretend oh, it's all okay. We shouldn't engage in spiritual bypassing, which is, well, I'm just going to pray about it, or God is just going to heal me. And that could be possible. I'm not saying that. I don't want your audience to write in, those who are faithful believers, to say, well, God can heal you. Of course. But that may not be the plan in this moment. And so I think it's important for us to be in a real relationship with our source and to be transparent with that source, so that we know what are the next steps that we should take in our journey of dealing with cancer or dealing with any other issue that we have going on, but particularly connecting with that source to move forward.
Exactly. And I think I could talk to Terrlyn about this on this really wonderful subject for at least 5 hours. But faith in the face of cancer, you've got this beautiful meditation. And I do want to jump into it, even though I could just go on and talk to you about this forever. But this is going to be wonderful, folks. So sit back and relax and enjoy.
I invite you in this moment to close your eyes Do get comfortable, but not so comfortable that you wander off to sleep. But just settle in. Pay attention to your breathing. I invite you to take some really deep breaths in and exhale. Take another deep breath in and then exhale. Exhale any thoughts, any concerns that you might have that will distract you from being in this moment, in this space. Just breathe very deeply. And then I invite you to just settle your breathing. And I invite you to think about quietness leads to confidence and to strength. Quietness leads to confidence and to strength. So I invite you just to listen to the music just for a few seconds and breathe in confidence and strength. You are a part of all of creation. And so I invite you, just for a few moments, to journey on a breath prayer. And as you inhale in, I would like you to inhale the words, I am. Breathe deeply. Inhale, I am. Exhale, divinely created. Inhale, I am. Exhale, divinely created. Once again, inhale, I am, and exhale, divinely created. In this moment, I want you to connect to your higher source, whatever you call that source, whatever the name is that makes you feel connected to something greater than yourself. Know that you are the manifestation of that source, the sacred, the divine. Breathe in, I am. Exhale, divinely created. Breathe in, I am. And exhale, divinely created. There's great power in the words, I am. Your body is a temple in which your divine creator placed your spirit. And so really your body is just housing your divinity. Your divine spirit never ceases. It simply is. Again, as you inhale the breath of I am, Feel connected to that source. You are one. You are the breath of God, the sacred, the divine. Now inhale, I am. And exhale, divinely created. I invite you now to inhale, I am, and then exhale, loved unconditionally. Inhale, I am. Exhale, loved unconditionally. Inhale, I am. And exhale, loved unconditionally. Beloved, there is no place where the sacred is not. In this moment, the sacred is here. When you are alone, the sacred is present. When you are surrounded by friends and family, the sacred is ever present and holding you close. As you continue to inhale, I am, and exhale, loved unconditionally, let any feelings of sadness, guilt, shame, judgment, or fear slip away. Just rest for a moment in the gentle care of being sheltered by the sacred, knowing fully and completely that you are loved unconditionally. Inhale, I am. Exhale, loved unconditionally. As you connect with your own divinity, your own manifestation of your sacred source, connect now with that greater power, knowing that you can rest gently there, that you can ask questions there, that you can lament there. And I invite you to think about what are the next questions that you need to ask for you, for your family. What are next steps for you as you face the journey of cancer? What moves should you make? Perhaps it's to simply be at one with the sacred, to be at peace with yourself, to connect with a friend, to confide in someone, or even share some thoughts or feelings with someone. Or perhaps it's even to say goodbye. What are the questions you need to ask your source? What are the next steps that you need to take? Allow the source that has created you, that loves you unconditionally, to flow through your heart, through your mind, and through your spirit. You are one with the sacred, and your body simply houses your spirit. Breathe in, I am. Exhale, one with the spirit. Breathe in, I am. And exhale, loved by the divine sacred source. Breathe in, I am. And now I invite you to exhale, I am. Beloved, you are divinely created and loved unconditionally. I invite you to take one more deep breath in. And when you are ready, open your eyes.
Oh my goodness. If I could even tell you, I am buzzing from head to toe and way above my head and way below my toes. I am so buzzing right now. That was incredible. That was so incredible. And I actually did some clarity on something, and it was given to me in a way that made me laugh because I've been resisting. You know how you get these, nudges, or like you said, not so gentle nudges. I've been getting a lot of that lately to do something particular for this beautiful community that we have, this cancer community that we have. And inside I'm like, I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm scared. I don't want to. And the clarity that I was getting was, you say that like you're alone, and you're not alone.
Never.
Here I am.
Yeah.
And it's like all that resistance just went, it just sort of drifted out and dissolved. Mm-hmm. And I just could feel I don't know, that last I am, or the last few I am just expanded. Yeah. And it was really powerful.
That's the beauty of I am, right? Because you get to expand. You're at one with the Creator.
Yes.
So that means that it's all possible. Everything is possible, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And you're really not alone with any of it,
Exactly. And I think that that's the deepest part of trust, right? Mm-hmm. Is knowing that even when the answer, as I said, is not what we want it to be, that when I draw my last breath, my trust is that my sacred source is there with me, and I get to go on to the next life. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. So a part of the sadness is about leaving the family behind, or as a family member, our sadness was about, we won't see her again. But at the same time, I was like, man, she already knows what it's like, on the next side, right? She's mm-hmm. there. She's going through her next, phase, whatever that is. And for us, we believe that she's going on to be with God. And so that's the trust of I am. That's what it's about in terms of faith, being able to understand our sacred source and to grow in relationship to who we are with that source. And it's ultimately about choosing to grow beyond the pain.
Right.
The pain is there, but we don't let it define every part of who we are.
And we don't let it cancel out anything else. You know, the pain doesn't cancel out our joy, like your sister, right?
Yes,
It
that's
didn't.
right.
Her cancer did not cancel her faith, her joy, her bliss, and everything that she went through.
And it was so amazing because my sister, like honestly, my sister was smile. If you saw her, she was smiling all the time. And you could have just left her a few minutes ago and you come back in the room. She's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like she was just so bubbly. And honestly, out of our family, it's like I think her personality was the sweetest. And so we had lots of questions like, "Well, God, why her?" And I mean, not that the rest of us wanted to go, but it was like, why? You know, and so we wrestled with those things, but she never once, this is what's so interesting. She never once said, "Why me?" What she actually said was, which we thought was incredible, and I'm not saying that I take this point of view, I'm just sharing what she said. She said, "I think God knew that I could handle this pain more than anybody else could, like of the family." And I was like, "What?" Because she was never one to tolerate pain, but her attitude was so amazing. The faith that she had. And when I look at my parents, they didn't die of cancer, but the faith that they had in their final days of continuing to pray to God and making God like, and to pray for their family and to even glorify God in the midst of that, because they knew it wasn't just about them. It's really about our shared relationships as well. What are you saying to other people as you go through your experience? What are you demonstrating for them? You know, are you showing them how to live in the midst of your pain? I can remember with my sister, like two of the final trips that I took with her, and one was to Hershey Park in Pennsylvania, and she just wanted to take her daughter to Hershey Park. So we loaded up the van. I took my two girls and her daughter and another sister went along. And I knew that she wasn't feeling well that day, but she was a trooper and she did have to sit out for part of the day. But she also continued to do things. She died in March of 2009, but up until November 2008, she was just out there, you know, doing things. I mean, that was when President Obama was elected, and she went down to write on the wall to give him like these good wishes, you know. And I knew she didn't feel well, but she just kept going because she was going to continue to live until she died and until she couldn't do anything anymore. And that I think is a mark of faith as well,
Yeah.
is to be able to say, I can do all things, you know, through God who strengthens me. And so that was, she was a living testimony for all of us. And those are some reasons she lived the faith that our parents had taught us. And I think that that's why, as a pastor, I can share stories about faith because I know what the journey is about as a caretaker, even though my other two sisters did more of the caretaking for her because she lived in the same area as they do live now and as she did. But she absolutely just was the epitome of that. And one of the things I want to also share with your listeners is this: faith is also about advocating for yourself and allowing other people to help you. Um, my sister, during her, when she knew it was time for her to go to hospice, she distinctly told us, "I will not go to hospice. I'm going to go to my home. which meant that somebody had to come in and take care of her, but she was clear about what she wanted. It's like, I'm not going there. And we are a family where we just absolutely, we take care of each other. I'm the youngest of 10. So all of my siblings made sure that they came and they visited at some point, but she advocated really for what she wanted. And I think that that's really, really critical. And the other thing is that she was so humbled as well. I can remember at one point where it got to the place where I had to, kind of care for her and like bathe her. And it was the greatest experience of love that I have ever felt, because I thought, wow, this is so great that this is a grown woman who has just humbled herself. She wasn't living in any shame. She wasn't saying, no, I don't want you to help me. She would even joke while we were doing, when I was bathing her or something. And so she understood the importance of asking people for help or allowing people to help. So I just want to say to anyone who's listening who carries around guilt or shame about, like, I have to be the strong person and stand up, allow other people to help you, because for one, you bless them and you really show them what it means to love. And the other thing that I want to say is ask people who you may not normally ask for help. Because maybe you don't have family members, maybe you don't have 9 siblings like we did, or
Right.
people who are going to be around. But there's always someone, if you connect with the I am and say, send me, or who shall I ask? Allow people to come in and help, even when you don't know what you need them to do. I had a friend who once asked her, hey, I can come over and vacuum your floors. She said, I would have never thought to ask him to come vacuum my floors, but he came over and he vacuumed the floors and it made her feel so much better. So I just want to say that the part of us moving through our faith is about using the supports that are around us as well. And again, going back to asking the right questions, that's what it means to move through our faith. So it might be, do I take this chemo? Do I not take this chemo? And listening for the answer and listening for the confirmation, because sometimes that confirmation comes through other sources and not just your mind. And so that's a whole nother conversation
Right.
with that. But I just want to just say that the answers are always there, but it's about being open and willing to listen to what the sacred is saying.
Wonderful. Wow. Yeah. Identifying with a lot of that, right?
So much, yeah.
Uh,
But
Receiving.
yeah, really relating to what you're saying about the cancer journey as an opportunity to experience receiving and giving and showing up and living.
Yeah.
Really, life does not have to end with a cancer diagnosis. In some cases, it could be the beginning of a new level of living. So,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes,
you really
for sure.
touched so many beautiful aspects of what cancer or illness or this kind of adversity can bring us in the way of gifts.
Mm-hmm.
You and I shared a stage once before, and I thought that was such a powerful experience. But Terrlyn, I have to say that this even took it way. Like we were at the top of, I don't know, Mount Shasta in California. Now we're at the top of the Himalayas.
Oh my. Well, that's all spirit. I have to tell you, that's being able to
absolutely.
trust spirit to guide the
Yeah.
process.
So just so happy that you came and joined us, and hopefully you'll come back and we can continue amazing conversations like we've been having.
Always. I adore the both of you, and I'm so excited and happy that to get a chance to talk with you. And I just really want to thank you for allowing me to serve your community.
Thank you so much.
Very much appreciated.
Yeah.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Wonderful. So please join us for the next Peaceful Oasis Live. Let's see. We have the wonderful Dorothy Martin Neville, another psychologist, and interestingly enough, she's going to be talking about claiming your I am. Isn't that perfect? Perfect follow-up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. It'll be Tuesday, December 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So please mark that on your calendars and join us. And thank you, everybody. Looking forward to next time.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
I'm loving meditations.
Welcome to the Loving Meditations app. I'm Tamara Green, co-founder. We invite you to check out the meditation section where we have dozens of meditations and activations to help you reduce stress and get grounded. Check out our playlist section where meditations are grouped by topic, including a Spanish channel and a COVID-19 channel. Get ready for calm, hope, inspiration, and peace, and know that we are here for you during these stressful times.